We got a hot take from Cavs coach Ty Lue regarding the potential trilogy we're all clamoring for. When asked about the challenges of defending the Warriors, Lue said this: "I don't even think about them. We're just focused on Boston. The stuff they're running, it's harder to defend than Golden State's offense for me. As far as the actions and all the running around and all the guys who are making all the plays, so it's totally different thing. They're running all kinds of expletive, man, and Brad's got them moving and cutting and playing with pace, and everybody is a threat. It's tough, you know, it's just tough." Stephen A., talk to me, your reaction.
Oh, no. I want to hear from Max on this one. I want to hear from Maximilian. Please educate me with your intellectual brilliance. Give it to me, Max Kellerman. Let me hear it.
Ty Lue is actually complimenting Brad Stevens. That's what's going on here. But if you take what he says at face value, it's preposterous. And not only that, he's saying they're harder to defend without Isaiah Thomas. Really, the advantage of not having Isaiah, if you're the Celtics and you want to see it as an advantage, is that defensively you can get better and you have a little more flexibility with your lineups in terms of who you can put out there, because Isaiah Thomas necessitates a certain lineup to compensate for the defensive liability that he is because he's 5'9". I mean, but in terms of the offense of the Celtics, everyone's a threat. Okay, you're complimenting Brad Stevens' strategy, but everyone's a threat. No one, less Isaiah Thomas, if you take him off the team, is as much of a threat as the fourth biggest threat on the Warriors. Draymond Green is more of an offensive threat, particularly when playing with Steph Curry and Klay Thompson and Kevin Durant, than anyone on the Celtics is. I don't care what kind of action Ty Lue is running. It doesn't matter, because Steph Curry really modernized the NBA even beyond maybe what Steve Nash did with D'Antoni, because Steph Curry has the combination of absurd handles and limitless range, making him a mobile artillery unit, meaning when he shoots from as far away as he does, it's not all three-point shots are created equal. When he shoots from the distance he does, it creates more space. It is harder to rotate defenders over to cover their men. Therefore, 33% three-point shooters like Draymond Green become 38% three-point shooters like Draymond Green. Not to mention, with Kevin Durant now on the team, doing what Harrison Barnes was supposed to be doing, now with Kevin Durant there, often what you find with the Warriors, the way they're defended, is that the best option legitimately for the opposing defense is Klay Thompson taking a wide-open three. Klay Thompson, who's not only already clearly one of the best shooters in the history of basketball in the known universe, but has the highest scoring quarter ever, 26 points. Was it 26 or 30-something? In a quarter. Stephen A., he is capable of getting hotter. It was 37. 26 was his second best scoring output in a quarter. The all-time record for scoring in a quarter is 37 by Klay Thompson. 36 was his second highest output. And that's your best option. Letting that guy alone from three sometimes, in no way, shape, or form on any day, is what Ty Lue's saying at all correct. But he's right. Brad Stevens is an excellent coach.
Well, Brad Stevens is an excellent coach. We agree there. And if you're looking at just the talent perspective, comparing Golden State to Boston, there is no comparison. So on its face, it appears what Tyronn Lue is saying to be preposterous. You're absolutely right in that regard. But I think you're missing what he's trying to say. If you talk to coaches, Max, what they want is a situation where, and their job description essentially is this when you look at it, it's to put it in the hands of the players. It's to make sure that schematically there's nothing deficient about what they're proposing their players do that ultimately serves as a liability as opposed to an asset. That's what they're alluding to here. That's what Tyronn Lue is alluding to here. With Golden State, he knows what they're going to do. The question is, can you stop it? If Steph Curry gets hot, you got to do something. If Klay Thompson gets hot, you got to do something. If Kevin Durant gets hot, you've got to do something. But you can't double all of them. So if two of them are hot at the same time, which is most likely, then it's an absolute nightmare. So on that level, there's nothing that you can do, but that's not on a coach. You can sit there and plan schematically and everything still fall apart because their talent is so surreal that there's simply nothing you can do. do. A coach doesn't go home, look in the mirror at himself and say, damn, I messed up. I didn't get it done. What he does look at himself in that regard is what is with regards to what happened in Game 3 with Cleveland against Boston. Because as LeBron James alluded to in the aftermath of Game 4, when he spoke to reporters, he talked about how confused they were. Isaiah Thomas was out. As a result, Marcus Smart was in the lineup. They were moving. They were cutting. They were adjusting. They were setting screens. They were doing so many different things that you didn't know what the hell was going on, and you had to figure it out. It had a lot to do with why Marcus Smart hit 7 of 10 threes, ultimately ended up with a career-high 27 points in the postseason because of things like that. And what happens is that as a coach, you're trying to figure out, when can I defend a guy? When can I cover him? When can I make sure that guy is defended? If you're able to do that, then it's on the players. It's not on you. So ultimately what Tyronn Lue was saying is that Golden State, I know what they're going to do. I just got to hope my boys can stop it. But it's really not going to come down to me. Whereas with Boston, Brad Stevens is making it a coaching contest, similar to what he did against Scott Brooks. Remember, Game 7, Max, I'm there at TD Bank Garden in Boston. Scott Brooks inexplicably decides not to play Kelly Oubre at all, which is a mistake. Bogdanovich only had 16 minutes, and nobody else other than Brandon Jennings for about 3 minutes came off the bench. Meanwhile, Smart had 28. Kelly Olynyk had 28, 29 minutes. Jaylen Brown had 20 minutes, and a couple of other guys had 8 to 10 minutes. He played his bench, and they were worn out come the fourth quarter, which is why John Wall exited the arena with everybody asking him questions about his 0-4 in the last 19 minutes on 0-for-11 shooting. What did John Wall say? 48-5, man, 48-5. That's what Boston's bench outscored Washington, because Brad Stevens manipulated things in a fashion that gave him an advantage,
as I said,
over Scott Brooks. That's what we're talking about here if you're Tyronn Lue.
As I said, Brad Stevens, the first thing I said was, basically what Ty Lue is saying is Brad Stevens is a good coach. And he's right. In terms of the coach matchup, in terms of playing chess with human bodies, yes, Brad Stevens, I can understand why he's like, I don't want to face that chess player. He's really good. Why Ty Lue would say that about him. Sure, I understand that. But to say they're harder to defend is simply untrue. Harder to defend means it's harder to keep them from scoring. It is easier to keep Boston from scoring. I'm not talking about schematically, I mean in practice, than it is to keep Golden State from scoring. You can really only do two things to Golden State. You could try to make Klay Thompson, put the ball on the floor and be a decision maker instead of a shooter, and not have Steph Curry do that. And Klay's not bad at that, but clearly that's not what he does best. You can try to do that. You can try to do what the Spurs did and just limit the number of possessions by slowing the pace down, because a slower pace means fewer baskets, and when you're playing a superior team, you want the score as low as possible, because then the value of each basket is greater in terms of determining the outcome of the game, and luck can factor in more at the end of the game. In other words, you have to hope to get lucky, limit the damage their offense can do, and hope to get lucky. Maybe on offense you can take them down low because Bogut's not there and try to get them in the paint a little bit, even though their bigs are playing, I think, better than given credit for until recently. But there's very little you can actually do against the Golden State Warriors to guard them. So if you're arguing that schematically it's easier to go at Golden State because you already know what they're going to do, okay. But what I'm telling you is it's harder because even knowing what they're going to do, there's nothing you really can do. So Ty Lue is helpless as a coach against Golden State. He can actually do something against the Celtics.
But that's the whole point. If it comes down to the players, then you've done your job as a coach. The coach's job is to make sure that schematically you know what they're going to do and you can plan accordingly. But if I sit up there and Tyronn Lue is the coach and he's like, Stephen A., Max is going to pull up from the left corner with about 17 seconds on the shot clock. He's not going left. This is what he's going to do. This is where he's comfortable. And that's exactly what Max does. The coach has done his job. Now it's up to the player to sit up there and execute. Tyronn Lue is alluding to execution. He's not alluding to anything else because ultimately with Golden State, think about Kevin Durant. Somehow, some way, you can sit up there and you can put whatever defense you want to on Kevin Durant. When he's flowing, there is nothing you can do. That is the situation every coach speaks about, and that is the situation every coach wants to be in.
Let's be honest. The real point of this comment is these are the dudes we're playing now. I'm not trying to give them any bulletin board material, and I want my guys motivated to play them because we haven't beaten them yet. That's really what this is about, because they're not playing Golden State yet. He is giving Golden State some bulletin board material, by the way.
Yeah, and we can all agree that Brad Stevens has done a tremendous job. But as Ty Lue just alluded to, guys, we